This is English shorthand dictation number 364 and the dictation speed is 120 words per minute. Ready? Start. The illegal sand mining in Haryana seems to be rising to new levels, with novel methods being employed. While unlawful quarrying of sand on panchayat land has been the norm, it has now come to light that owners of land located around rivers have been allowing sand to be illegally extracted from their property at lucrative rates of up to rupees 20 lakh per acre. This trend of landowners having a piece of the pie is worrisome as it makes illegal mining all the more difficult to curb. The rampant continuation of the banned activity is as much reflective of the audacity of the locals as of the authorities' inability to prevent this open loot of a precious resource. Sand from riverbeds is being dug out without permits throughout the state, flagging the threat to riverine biodiversity and the ecosystem of rivers. The National Green Tribunal had, in July, ordered the Haryana State Pollution Control Board to take action against officials who had failed to check unregulated sand mining along the Yamuna belt. Such murky activities are going on because of a deep criminal nexus between the mining mafia, politicians, and government officials. This must be checked. Small players like tractor drivers who transport sand are being caught, but little effort is being made to net the big fish or hold government officials accountable for this incessant loot. This laxity is unforgivable. The flora and fauna of the region are shrinking day by day, and the damage done so far cannot be reversed. The Supreme Court has taken several initiatives this year for reforming the justice delivery system. The most significant one was aimed at reducing the pendency of cases as the country's courts are clogged with crores of lawsuits. Delayed justice is one of the main grievances of the litigants and is often equated with denial of justice. Thus, it is laudable that the Supreme Court disposed of 52,191 cases till 15th December this year, an increase of 33% compared to 2022, when 39,800 cases were decided. It is the highest number since the Integrated Case Management Information System was launched in 2017. The Supreme Court harnessed technology to achieve this feat. Strategic reforms such as reducing the time frame for verification and listing of cases from 10 days to 7 helped the court set a new standard for timely and efficient justice delivery. Giving primacy to personal liberty, the Supreme Court ensured that matters such as bail, habeas corpus, eviction, and demolition were processed in one day and listed immediately. Notably, for the first time, such proceedings were also taken up during the summer vacation. Forming specialized benches to handle particular types of cases also proved effective in streamlining the process. Some other key litigant friendly interventions included the setting up of a hybrid hearing system, an RTI portal, and the electronic version of Supreme Court reports, which provides online access to thousands of judgments. The Supreme Court linkage with the National Judicial Data Grid has enabled the tracking of cases on a real time basis, thus reducing opacity and increasing the judge's accountability. The High Courts should take a leaf out of the Supreme Court book and expedite trial proceedings. In a report tabled in Parliament, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Defence has expressed concern over the inordinate delay in the supply of light combat aircraft by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited to the Indian Air Force. The panel has recommended that the government should consider buying fifth generation fighter aircraft over the counter so as to save time and keep the force in a comfortable position. The committee has suggested this option in view of the apparently slow progress being made to procure 114 multi role fighter aircraft. It was in April 2019 that the Indian Air Force had initiated the process to acquire the MCFA at a cost of around $18 billion. Considering the fact that India is wedged between two hostile neighbors, it is imperative to keep the defense forces in a perpetual state of combat readiness. Air power has a key role to play in this regard, even as the Indian Air Force currently has 31 fighter aircraft squadrons against the sanctioned strength of 42. Fast tracking of procurements is a must to ensure that the fighting capabilities of Indian Air Force are not compromised. Another cause for concern is the drop in the share of research and development funds in the expenditure of the Defense Research and Development Organization. A higher budgetary allocation for research and development is required to give an impetus to the Make in India initiative. The panel has also recommended that pragmatic targets should be set for theaterization of the armed forces. This all important integration, which envisages optimal utilization of resources, has already got inordinately delayed. A nation whose military is counted among the most formidable ones in the world cannot afford to show any laxity or apathy that can be exploited by the enemy. Distilleries in Himachal Pradesh have been releasing toxic effluents into water bodies, posing a threat to the health of the local population and aquatic life. Though people have been protesting against the hazardous practice, and the state pollution control boards, as well as courts and the National Green Tribunal, have pulled up the airing units. Frequent reports of the pungent, frothy industrial discharge causing contamination raise baffling questions. The latest report pertains to a private distillery which has been accused of dumping poisonous waste into a natural water source for the second time this year. As a result, fearing the spread of diseases, the system to draw water for the villagers' needs has been suspended. In January, many surrounding villages had borne the brunt of the indiscriminate waste disposal, and the plant was closed for 10 days. Repeated non compliance with pollution norms reflects poorly on the management of the plants as well as the law enforcement authorities. The alleged contamination of underground water over the years by an alcohol distillery unit has been most damaging to both humans and cattle in Punjab's Firozpur district. It has been accused of pumping untreated discharge into underground aquifers by reverse boring. A committee looking into complaints by local residents had found toxic substances and harmful chemicals in the water samples. The chief minister had ordered the plant's closure earlier this year. In Haryana, the Central Pollution Control Board had issued directions in 2019 for the monitoring of a Karnal distillery whose drain was suspected of emptying untreated sewage into the Yamuna. The list goes on, but decisive action has largely remained elusive.